Hi guys, and welcome back to the Daily Racing Show here at RacePlazaMedia. Today is Friday, so it's time to take a look at the racing news highlights that we've come across this week that we wanted to share with you guys. So let's get right into it. First off, unfortunately not some great news. AMA Supercross fan favorite Aaron Plessinger unfortunately announced that he will be missing the remainder of the season. If you watched last week's race in Foxborough, Massachusetts, you already noticed that he was missing during the big race because he had injured himself during qualifying. It turns out he has a fracture in his elbow, which will take about 4 to 6 weeks of recovery on average without surgery. He doesn't have a cast or anything. But because the elbow takes so much impact during the race, he really wants to focus on a good recovery so he can be back and fully himself for the outdoor season. So we wish you, Aaron, all the best and a great recovery. Next in the news, let's talk about the World Rally Championship. As you know, it's currently happening in Croatia, and up on the ballot to participate next year was Ireland. However, unfortunately, the government needed an extension to decide whether or not they want to allocate $15 million to a 3-year contract. So unfortunately, Ireland will not be joining us in the next couple of years for the World Rally Championship. However, the Isle Canaria Rally in Spain will be upgraded from the European Championship to the World Rally Championship. We might also have a rally in Saudi Arabia. Paraguay and Argentina are also understood to be in conversation to be part of the mix for the World Rally Championship seasons 2025 to 2027. Next up, the IndyCar Series will be debuting their 2.0 version of their aero screen this weekend at the Grand Prix of Long Beach. This is now the second iteration of the Aeroscreen, which is a safety device that was introduced initially in 2020. It's essentially a ballistic windshield with a titanium frame. Now, this new iteration also includes vents, air vents for the drivers to provide additional cooling since their body temperature raises up to 100 degrees Fahrenheit during the race, and the entire screen is about 11.1 pounds lighter than the first version of it. And I must say, it does look really nice. And the safety screen is mandated on all types of tracks that Indy races on. In additional Indy news, last year's F2 champion Theo Pourchaire will be driving the McLaren Indy car of David Malukas, who has been out due to an injury. He had already missed the first 2 races. They anticipated him to be at the Long Beach Grand Prix. However, he's not quite ready yet. So Theo Pourchaire will be stepping in. He had no time in the vehicle thus far. He's only had 1 round on the simulator, so it'll be very exciting to see how he fares in the Indy car. He has successfully raced in Formula Regional, Formula 4, Formula 3, and as mentioned, he is a previous F2 champion, so we will see how he does at the Long Beach Grand Prix, and we wish him all the best. Up next, we have some more news about the whole Christian Horner saga. I'm sure you've heard of it earlier this year. He was accused by a female colleague of inappropriate behavior. She was suspended with full pay from Red Bull. However, she's now appealing the decision. She also filed a complaint directly to the FIA, the governing body of Formula One. So she's now being interviewed by a new barrister assigned to the case. And she also announced that she would move on to an employment tribunal in case her appeal fails, which would potentially publicize all confidential information, which of course Red Bull does not want to make public. So we'll see what we'll find out in the next coming days about this case. In some additional Formula-related news, Dorian Pin and Marta Garcia, which you might already know from the F1 Academy, they're both also participating this year at FRECA, the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. They both will be representing the Iron Dames. This is the Iron Dames' first single-seater campaign, and we wish both racers a very successful start and overall season. The season kicks off May 12th in Hockenheim. However, Dorian might have to sit out the Hungarian round because that will indeed clash with the F1 Academy's Barcelona race. But more on that in the future. And lastly, let's talk about NASCAR. The NASCAR governing body has issued several suspension to crew members of different NASCAR teams due to several violations, including safety violations of 2 team members of Kyle Larson's team because of a loose wheel. We also had several crew members suspended due to unapproved equipment or attire, including gloves and helmets, as well as suspensions due to improperly secured lug nuts. And lastly, we also have a suspension due to substance abuse by a pit crew member. And that wraps up the racing news highlights of the week that we wanted to share with you guys. If you've come across any additional news that you wanted to chat about, just let us know in the comments below. And as per usual, thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.